we begin with a moment of intention. If you would like to join me, take a breath, if you would, please. This is a time in our day when we step back and allow Spirit to guide. We're all so busy and have so many distractions. So we focus in for 1 hour out of our life now, and we pray and intend that each of us gets a stronger connection to our source with a capital S. We say that source lives within us, that we are never disconnected from it except in thought, and that anything that happens today is a result of Spirit speaking to your heart. I am just a facilitator, but really your relationship is with higher power that lives within you. And as you connect with that higher power, everything you possibly want to know is given to you, easily, gently, generously, gracefully. And that we are now open to receive all the gifts that Spirit has for each of us individually and as a group. And if you hear this join me in saying it, so it is, and so it is. Okay. We had our last LEAP session the other day, the Accelerating Prosperity Program, wonderful group. And a fellow told the story that I want to share with you. If you were there, you probably heard it, but if not, you want to hear it. So he was living in a city, and there was some homeless people hanging around at the base of his apartment house, I guess. And there was one woman that he just did not like. And he had judgments about her. She was dirty. She had scars on her face. She had teeth missing, and she was unattractive to look at. And every time he passed her, he was very aware of his judgments about her, and she would kind of scowl at him too. And he thought, wait a minute, this is not what I'm about. I'm about a spiritual reality. So he had the guts to approach her one day, and he said, I just want to share that I've had judgments about you, and I'm really sorry. That's a guts, didn't it? And he said, I hope you'll forgive me for seeing you as less than a divine being. And she smiled. She said, yeah, sure, I forgive you. And then he said something amazing happened. He said that as he looked at her face, something changed. And she changed from age 40 to 20. And the scars on her face disappeared. And her teeth were filled in. And he said he began to see her as an angel. And he said the vision lasted for just a few moments. But he said it changed his entire life because he saw her as a divine being. And he said now he's praying to see everyone like that. And I said, that's a fabulous story. And he said, what happened? And I said, well, it's pretty clear what happened. You were given a glimpse of her soul. And souls don't have bodies, souls don't have missing teeth, souls don't have skin problems, souls don't have ages. And I said, you saw her whole divine soul. And it was a very touching story. And, those of you who've gone through coach training with me or will, we teach that the highest coaching is to see a person's true self, their whole self, not their broken self, not their fearful self, but their divine self. And you don't have to be a coach to practice that. If you're having an altercation with your partner or your child, your parent, just take a moment and relax and take off the glasses, so to speak, of human vision and put on the glasses of divine vision. And if you're going to coach or heal or help anybody in any way, that's how to do it. You just see the divinity. And years ago, I did a retreat. I did a weekend retreat in New Jersey. And before the retreat, I asked people to send me a baby picture of themselves and their t-shirt size. And before the retreat, I had everybody got a t-shirt with their baby picture on it. And I asked them to walk around the retreat with it whenever they could. I said, if you start to have judgments about someone, or get afraid of them, or have a conflict with them, I said, quit looking at their old face and look down at their baby picture, at their innocent self. And people love that exercise. And it's kind of symbolic. Physical baby picture represents our innocence. We're not babies or old. We're just spirit. And so I like to teach and use what I call X-ray vision. And it means piercing beyond the illusions of somebody's body, their gender, their race, their age, their weight, all that stuff, their marital status. And look instead at the eternal spirit that they are. That, we call each other men and women, and astrology signs and numerology numbers, and professions and histories and traumas and psychological diagnoses and ADD and ADHD. And the list of labels is endless, endless, endless. Someone wrote a book called Don't Label It, Love It, Don't Label It. Love it, don't label it, because love and labels are pretty much oxymoronic. That the minute you call yourself a weight or an age or a gender or a race or a culture, you have put yourself in a box that is smaller than you truly are. Now, those things have meaning within the world. I understand that we have to relate to them. But the truth is that you don't belong to the world. I did a daily dose yesterday, and the title was Just Visiting This Planet, which means that who you are does not belong to the earth. And one of my favorite Bible stories is when Jesus was taken before the Jewish Sanhedrin, and he was accused of rabble rousing and making trouble. They asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he gave the best answer. Only Jesus could give this answer. He said, "My kingdom is not of this world." What an answer. What an answer. My kingdom is not of this world, meaning that I'm not into politics. I'm not even into religion. I'm not into the Romans or the Jews or the history. I am the spiritual being. And my kingdom has nothing to do with human labels that people make up and use as excuses to divide. Nationalism and racialism and genderism, all are just excuses to divide and make us smaller than we really are. So the next time somebody asks you how old you are or your marital status, the best answer is, my kingdom is not of this world. People used to ask my teacher, Hilda, how old are you? And she said, I'm as old as God and as young as the morning. I'm as old as God and as young as the morning. One more story, and then we'll go to coaching. Raise your hand if you want to get in line. There was a guy in the Netherlands named Emil Bratelband, and he was officially 69 years old, but he petitioned the court to change his legal age to 49. Why? Well, he went to doctors and he had tests, and they said that you have all the vital signs of a 49-year-old. Physically, you're 49. So he thought, well, why should my legal age say 69 if I'm really 49? And so he said, people can change their gender. Why can't I change my age? So I don't know what happened with the court, but that doesn't really matter. The principle is the thing, that we get hung up by the appearances of the world and we lose sight of our soul. You understand? That we are souls. You're not a body that has a soul. You're a soul that has a body. And that identity shift is the crucial shift of a lifetime from thinking you're immortal, limited, vulnerable, subject to death being. And we start to become somebody who's whole and immortal and never been touched by death, never been touched by disease, never been touched by divorce, never been touched by trauma, never been touched by politics. Our real self lives above all that. So let's remember Mike's story when he saw that woman's soul for just a few seconds. Her earthly appearance disappeared and her divine appearance came forth. May we all do that as much as possible. Somebody say amen. Okay, let's go to the hands up. Let me admit some more people into the room. And we'll call on Day. Day, can you put your mic video on, please, dear? Good to see you. Glad you're there. Hello.
Hello, aloha. It's good
Great
to
to
see
see you. Great to see you. Welcome to Hawaii. Day just moved to Hawaii from New York.
you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you for everything you've been doing. You know, during the pandemic, we've been watching and we're very grateful. So thank you.
Me too. Me too. Thank you.
I'm actually needing some coaching around, my mother-in-law passed away yesterday. And we're having to travel this weekend. And, you know, I always get a little bit ungrounded and disconnected when I travel different time zone, different climate. And, you know, we're talking an 11-hour difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, supporting people around that are grieving, you know, more specifically my father-in-law. So we're just gonna, it's important that we're there with him and provide support, and we're happy to do it. But and that's not an issue ever for me. I know how to do that. The issue is how I lose myself. And so I don't want to do that this time, because I also plan to work while I'm away. We're going to be gone several weeks, and I plan to continue working while we're there, helping him out.
What do you mean by you lose yourself? Can you be more specific, dear?
I just get carried away in the currents of what's going on around me. Usually when I'm, you know, we visit, I guess I fall, or I don't follow up, or stick to my practices that work. You know, I get out of bed and I go down and I meet, you know, I'm around everybody and I am there, and, you know, and my practices just sort of go out the window, because in my mind I think, oh, they take too long, or and normally they have a dog there that we take for walks, and that helps, but they recently had to put the dog down. So that was very, very sad.
Well, so you lose yourself, don't we all? I mean, you're all lined up with spirit, and then you go to your family, and boom, it's out the window. So we know how that works. So what helps you to stay sane in that position? You said that I lose my practices. I think one of the Catholic saints said, on the day that you think you're too busy to pray, that's the time to pray. So, you know, when you're traveling and under stress, that it's even more required to do your practices. But what helps you keep your head on straight in situations like that, Day?
So the quickest thing is usually, it's either sort of a heart math practice of getting into, you know, my heart, or doing some EFT. Generally, on my regular day-to-day, it's writing in the morning. I journal. I do morning pages every morning, and it usually takes me about a half hour or a little bit more. And since we've been in Hawaii, I've been doing exercises. So that has been getting me more grounded. And then, I wake up and I do my prayers. As soon as my eyes open, I'm, communing.
Yeah. Have you tried this prayer? A great spirit, my only goal today is to stay at peace. I don't care what anybody says or does, but my intention is to stay in my center. And I ask for your help to protect my mind from fear thoughts and just let me cruise through the state no matter what anybody says or does. Would that be a good prayer for you?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good. Where can I find that?
Well, just listen to this recording, and you can get it again.
Yeah.
But you get the idea of it. It's basically saying to God, I want my day to line up independent of events.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say? Those were my words. But if you had to make up your own prayer around that, what would you say?
Divine Spirit, help me to stay grounded in my heart throughout the day, regardless of what's going on. Help me to stay connected to you, regardless of what's going on around me.
How does that feel?
Good, it makes me want to cry.
Well, it looks like you actually went into that mode. You went into a beautiful, peaceful state, just sending your mind in that direction.
That's how I usually get connected easily. Is hands on heart and go in and connect. And so I guess I have to try to remember that while we're away.
Yeah. And what God would not answer a prayer like that? Now, one other suggestion, you can pre-program for your entire trip. You can reinforce it every day, but before you leave, you say, okay, I know I'm going to my family. I know there'll be issues and emotions and all that. But my one goal for this trip is to stay in a healthy, happy place. And when I come home, I want to feel like I've done my spiritual practice and I'm in my heart and I'm where I want to be. You can kind of like set up your whole trip before you leave. And you can roll out a golden carpet and say, well, stay on my golden carpet. If other people want to join me, they can. If not, that's fine. But I'm going to stay on my golden carpet going and coming. Something like that.
Yeah. I like that. I can do that, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan.
And so you can sing throughout your day.
Yes.
Are you going to India or where are you going?
No, my husband is Irish, so we're going to Ireland. So we're talking different time zone and different climate, and it's leaving Hawaii where it's nice and warm. And
well, put on your suit of protection. You put a bubble of light around you and say, I'm going to stay in my light bubble, my light sphere, and that's all that matters. My state of mind is more important than anything that happens.
Yeah.
And keep coming back to that. And then you really serve those people. If they're upset or depressed or mourning or whatever, you staying in that high vibration will totally serve them. And you'll feel good too.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been playing with that a lot more, sort of having a golden light circle, around me. And that calms me down and gets me grounded. So thank you.
I know you're an excellent therapist. How do you keep your center and peace when you're working with therapy who are emotional or have issues?
So, I did your coach training, which I love, and anybody on the fence, please do it. It's changed my whole practice as a therapist, and because it gave me that spiritual foundation I've been looking for. But I do the healer's prayer. I come in, I've been working from home, so I come into my workspace, which I love, and I just sit and meditate in this space, and I And in between clients, I I do the healing prayers. So I keep grounded in my heart space when I'm working with clients. So I don't get derailed easily. In fact, I leave and I feel energized at the end of the day.
So what's the difference between that and going to Ireland? Why would that be different?
Oh gosh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, let's have an interesting answer. Yeah, let's see. How do you perceive there to be a difference?
I think that the time zone, there isn't a difference really. There isn't a difference if I consistently make time and when I get up in the morning before I leave my room and set my intention. There isn't a difference.
There really isn't.
No.
You know, the first sentence of A Course in Miracles, there's no order of difficulty in miracles, meaning that there's no situation that is more challenging than another, unless we make up a story in our mind that it is.
Yeah.
So the same tool that heals and helps you doing your one-to-ones, well, there's no difference really. You think there's a difference, but there's not really. So practice what you do with your clients, with your family, and you cruise that whole situation.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. It's so good to see you.
You look great. You look real shiny. I'm really happy to see you. And you're going to have a great trip. And you're going to stay high and happy and come back energized. How's that sound?
Thank you. It sounds great. And we're taking I signed us up yesterday for your program in September. So we're looking forward to that. So thank you.
Okay. You too. Thank you, dear. Okay. While she mentioned it, you probably all got an email. I'm starting a new program in September. It's called The Master Keys of Healing, based on my book of the same name. We're going to go deep into the dynamics of healing, mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual. It's an 8-week webinar. And I'm giving this group and my lead group first dibs on getting the 50% discount in the first 20 people. Maybe it's already filled, I don't know. But go to that email, sign up quickly so you can get into the cheapest price. Okay, let's go to Mr. Steve, who has his hand up. Hi, Steve. Put your video on if you would. If anybody else is unmuted, please mute yourself so we don't have background noise. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. How are you?
Good
well,
I know
how you are.
Thanks for showing up.
Thanks for doing this, Alan.
Yeah, sure.
Truly appreciated. So, similar to Day, was that her name, Day?
Day, yes, D-A-Y, yeah.
Well, it's sort of funny that this is my second time having an interaction with you in the coaching. First time was sort of prosperity-based. I signed up for your healing class, and this is more healing-based. So we're consistent here. So I've had this issue with my hands that has been a problem in my life. And it's been going on for a few years now. It's been coming and going. And it first started out as a rash and keeps changing over time. And it's also where my skin will split open. And I'm a hand drummer. I was teaching Afro-Cuban percussion for years, and I still play, and it's prohibited me from playing. And I have a lot of trust in life, so I've just sort of been doing my best to know that this is going to clear up. And so and I have a huge amount of wobble, if you're familiar with that Abraham term about my state of trusting, and then I'll sort of vacillate between fear and love about this, or knowing and fear about this. And as I was thinking about it yesterday, because it sort of flared up, and I was noticing how much when I think I'm actually trying to focus in a way that is positive or in alignment with natural well-being, I'm actually resisting. I'm actually going down that path to still try and get rid of something I don't want.
Got it.
And I'm actually, there's a number of ways I can say it. I could say I'm broadcasting lack or fear or both to the universe. And so as I went to sleep last night, one of the practices I do sometimes that Abraham has suggested is to release any negative momentums. As I go to sleep, I'm going to release any negative momentums and allow the natural momentum of well-being to be present in my life again. And I did that, and I really woke up with an entirely different headspace about this morning. And really, I thought it would be perfect to discuss this with you because I'm not good at staying in this space, sort of like what Day was describing. And I'd like to be more consistently in this space. And I'd like to heal up my hands and play drums all the time.
Yeah.
And so I know there's some decisions, and you mentioned an identity shift about this. And I'm really focusing in that realm. So, okay, Alan, your turn. Fix me.
I don't do any fixing.
I'll turn it over to you.
But I really like what you said, Steve, about shifting from resisting a problem to allowing well-being to be your dominant energy. I think, let me just say that all physical problems, emotional problems, financial problems, career problems, they all are spiritual lessons that when we go deeper, we realize it wasn't about that thing at all, but it was about the spiritual lesson that they caused us to learn.
Yep.
So it could be for you that it's the dynamic of continually coming back to allowing well-being, allowing well-being, allowing well-being, versus pushing against non-well-being. Do you think that could be an undercurrent of theme here?
Yes.
Yeah. What did you do last night that made you feel good this morning? What kind of headspace did you put yourself in?
Trying to articulate it. It's really sort of getting into a space of remembering and knowing that despite whatever chatter or story or narration I may have about what I call the PPVV point of view, the powerless, panicky, vulnerable victim.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think I maybe mentioned last time, I have some acronyms to try and remind myself of. IPPEES is intentional, pure, positive, exuberant energy of source. And I really meditate on those words one at a time to really, and remember that is the source that birthed me before I was born, that grew me in 9 months into a miraculous body with trillions of cells all functioning like an orchestra. And so the headspace, to answer your question, is to try and connect with that. And I've had some meditations lately where they've been beautiful in their, how much I've been able to release this fearful state and reconnect with and it really comes down to knowing and trust. It's like, you can't get to trust. You can only
trust.
You can't
only trust.
Yeah, and you get it from knowing.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think you're being extremely articulate about it, and it sounds to me like you're already onto it. That you want to come from your wholeness, your divinity, your magnificence, your perfection. And this is less about the hand and more about toggling back and forth so you keep coming back to choosing your preferred state. It's kind of like somebody who serves you hard serves on a tennis court, and eventually you figure out how to serve them back, and they don't overwhelm you anymore because you've built that muscle that knows how to stay in the zone to serve them back.
Yeah.
So think less about the hand and more about the state of mind that you want to hang out in. And I like you, I agree that the hand will take care of itself.
Yes, it has. It's been interesting how it comes and goes.
Yeah. You're getting a handle on your higher consciousness.
And that's not very punny.
Why? It's true. You're getting a handle on it. You're learning to handle it.
True. That is true.
Yeah.
I had to get past the pun and to the value there.
Yeah. You sound to me like the space you want to stay in very well. and it's becoming more and more familiar to you. And
Yes.
that's the muscle you're building and the dominant energy you're stepping into.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm really at this stage. What came through in some of my meditative kind of work was that I'm really at a decision point or in a turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned to you, I got laid off May 1st, and I've really been, I've written some music, and I'm really pursuing a whole other path of who I am, what I do, how money comes into my life from what sources and all that. And it's really owning that, owning me and owning that at a level that I'm like, can I really do that? Moving from, can I really do that to, yes, I am doing that.
I'm doing it. You're already doing it. It's already done. So I like also to talk to you about the identity shift. You're shifting from a guy who's trying or struggling to the guy who already has it handled. And you're claiming your mastery over the things that used to challenge you. That's the identity shift that you're gaining at the moment.
True that.
So it is.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So it is.
Good to see you. Always nice to connect with you.
Indeed.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Let's go on to Angie. You can put your video on if you would, Angie, and I'll lower your hand and we'll have a little chat. Angie. Hi, Angie. Okay, let me unmute you. Or let's see. Can you try unmuting yourself? There you go. Okay, very good.
Hi, thank you, Alan. I wanted to talk with you today about maybe get a little bit of coaching on trusting myself. I was recently in or I would say I've noticed a pattern of finding myself in relationships with people that are unavailable. And then I get
how unusual. Go ahead.
And then I find myself in this most recent situation. I met him in February, and then he was very clear to me that there wasn't a spark and that there was no, it wasn't it for him. And I continued to try to create something. And I did create a story in my mind of how it could all work. And I guess that the reason this is weighing on me is because I see it maybe in other areas, and I'm struggling with trusting myself because I thought that, I thought that there was something there that wasn't. And so I'm just starting a new career. I started a new career in November, and it's the first time I've been in a space where I'm running my own business and getting clients. And so then this kind of this personal side of things is causing me to have some doubt or mistrust in on the business side of things.
So you're working on self-trust.
Yes.
And you've done well with your business, but when this relationship thing comes in, doubts come in, and now they're kind of spilling over to your business thing.
Yeah.
What if we reversed it? What if we took the success you have in your business and spilled that over to your relationships? So tell me a little bit about how you feel when your business is thriving and what's made it work and who you are in that business.
Well, it's brand new since November, so it's yet to be at a point where I would say it's thriving, but I'm taking the attitude of that the clients are coming and that they're on their way, and that the amount of business I have right now is just right for me right now.
Great. And who are you in that business? Describe Angie in that business. How do you feel? What do you think? What do you say? What do you do? What is your high vibration in that business?
because of the our current situation with the pandemic, I feel like it's given me an opportunity to kind of create it in a way that feels comfortable for me.
Mhm.
And so I'm allowing myself to maybe do the business a little different than maybe I would be taught to do the business. But that feels really good to me, that I feel like there isn't a large discrepancy between work and play. I feel like I try to incorporate exercise and play and fun and into the business.
So you
Because I want it to happen organically,
Yeah.
versus like it's an industry where, you know, cold calling is kind of would be typical, but I would prefer to meet a neighbor on a walk and have that turn into a relationship and then have that lead to business.
Love it, love it. So you describe as somebody who trusts herself, who trusts the universe, who allows things to unfold organically instead of doing things by the book, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you took that same attitude into your relationships and trusted yourself, trusted the process, allowed things to unfold organically without trying to do cold calling or forcing? How would that feel?
That would feel good. I'm not sure why I have a kind of a hang up when it comes to more of that intimate relationship or personal relationship. With business, I'm able to kind of just let it go. If someone says no to me, like I know that the right person is coming my way, and that it's okay if they are not ready to do business. But if
I want to stop you right there. Excuse me for interrupting. What you said is just so key. I want you to think about this guy that you didn't work out with.
Uh-huh.
I know that if they're not the right person for me, I don't need them. They can walk away, and there's a right person who's waiting for me. What if you took that attitude with this guy?
I can try. Yes.
What's your biggest fear in a relationship? What's the worst thing that could happen if you got intimate with somebody?
I think maybe I want it too much.
Want it too much? Come back to the question. What's the worst thing that could happen? What does your mind tell you that's bad that could happen if you got intimate?
They'll leave. They'll abandon me.
Okay, leave or abandon. And what's the best thing that could happen?
I could share joy with another person.
Yeah, it could work out. How would that feel?
I think that would feel nice.
Yeah. I used to attract unavailable women because I was unavailable. And I would travel around the world. This was pre-D, before my current relationship. And I'd meet these women and we'd strike up a relationship, and they'd be in New Jersey or who knows where, all over the place. And we would have a hard time getting together. And I would say, oh, they're not available to me. And so I'd write them off. But I realized that I was finding women who weren't available because I was unavailable. It was really my choice, not theirs. They were matching the energy I was putting out. And then I got tired of that. And I thought, well, I'd like to meet somebody I can really be with. And then I met Dee on my own island. It was the most organic, fluent thing that ever happened, with no strain, no stress whatsoever. So my point is, when you shift your intention, then what comes of your intention will change. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. And what just came to mind when you said that is, I think in the workspace, I'm more willing to let it come to me. And I think I try to control in the personal relationship. I try to convince. instead of just allowing it.
Anybody I have to convince is not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hit you with a sobering statement. Someone once told me that a woman marries a man with the expectation of change, and a man marries a woman with the expectation she'll never change. Let's focus on the first part. You know, so many women fall in love with a man's potential and just wait for him to be fixed so he can match their vision without noticing who they really are. So it sounds to me like you got involved with this guy hoping and thinking he would change and he would step up to your vision, but it didn't quite work out. Would that be so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you know, if somebody came along who really wanted you, would you want them, Angie? Would you be open to it?
Well, that's another part of the struggle. I feel like sometimes I have had that happen too, and it's almost, it kind of,
yeah.
It turns me away. And I have thought about what you said earlier. I've thought about, does this mean that I'm not available, and where do I need to look in myself about that? You know?
Thank you. Yeah, that is your meditation there. That's your journey. You're going like this with one hand, but then you're going like this with the other. You see, so I want a man, but I'm only going to keep men at a certain distance because it's a little too scary. So what I'd like you to do, dear, for meditation, if you would, is to really shine the light on the fears of what could happen in a relationship and ask yourself, is this real? And then ask yourself, what's the best thing that could happen? If I were not afraid, and fill in this blank, dear, if I were not afraid, I would. What would you do?
Well, if I were not afraid, I would allow people to see my imperfections.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. I don't know, just I don't know.
Let me give you a little hint. Nobody is perfect in a relationship. I don't care how much people smile and hold hands and brag about their relationship. No one in a relationship is perfect. I'm not, my partner's not, no one is. And so if you wait until you're perfect to welcome a man, you're going to be waiting forever. So relationship is kind of like, what do they say, warts and all? It's not a good expression. But it's like, you know, this is who I am. I'm not perfect, but I have a lot of good things to offer. And you're not perfect, but you have a lot of good things to offer. So let's celebrate the good things we each have to offer rather than dwelling on imperfections or waiting for us to come around to who we think we should be.
Do you think that it's better for a woman to be chased versus chasing? Because I feel like I chase instead of being chased.
That's a game. There's no chasing. There's no chasing required by anybody.
I love that. Thank you.
That's you know, if your mother told you make a man chase you, that's an old wives' tale. That's Jurassic.
Yes, that's what my friends say.
That's a junior high school game.
Oh, thank you.
And you said it earlier. You said regarding your business, I prefer to just let things unfold organically and let my right clients come to me. Same thing with relationship. It's no different whatsoever. The rules are not different. The laws that govern are not different.
Thank you.
Let me show up as I am. Somebody will organically show up. We'll get to know each other. It'll just emerge as a natural process without struggle, strain, chasing, or game playing by anybody.
Thank you.
It looks like your shoulders relaxed and you had sort of an aha, yeah?
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
You deserve a great guy. You're attractive, you're smart, you're spiritual, you're professional. There's a lot of guys out there who would love to be with you, even if you're not the most perfect person in the world. They would love you for who you are as you are.
Thank you, Alan.
Good?
All right. Thanks so much.
She's off and running. Very good. Thank you, Angie. Angie the angel. Okay.
Thank you. Oh.
Okay, thank you, Angie. Thank you for your honesty. Okay, Sangeeta has her hand up. Sangeeta, can you put your video on, please? And if anybody else wants to get in line, we might have room for one more person after Sangeeta. Hello, are you in India or where are you? See if you can, oh, there you go. Are you in India?
I'm in India. I'm in India.
What time is it there?
It is 2 p.m. in the night.
2 a.m. 2 a.m. in the morning, you mean?
Morning, yes.
Yeah, 2
a.m.
p.m.
in the morning.
Well, thank you for staying up to talk to me. How can I support you?
I want to get over some of my fears of being fooled and let go of the past and be forgiving and lead my life clutter-free.
Beautiful, thank you. What is the hardest thing for you to give, if I may ask?
What is the hardest?
Yes, what are you having trouble forgiving?
I have trouble forgiving people taking away my things without my knowledge and making a fool out of me within my own house.
You think that people make a fool out of you, which is actually impossible. No one has the power to make you a fool. They can think you are, but you're not. Big question, my dear. Do you know that you're not a fool, or does part of you think you're a fool?
Pardon me?
Do you know that you're not a fool, or is there a part of you that knows that you are not a fool?
I'm not.
You're not. You're not. Tell me about the part of yourself that is wise and whole and mature and loving. Let's hear about that person.
My intellectual wiseness says that it's okay. That's only when I'm talking to you.
It's okay to what? Say again, please.
It's okay, let it go, let the past go, forgive.
Yes.
It's all intellectual, but actually from inside, when I see the people, I bring back those memories and then I become hard-hearted and unforgiving.
Yes. What would be the opposite of unforgiving? How can you think about them that releases you?
Oh, it would be just freedom and flying like a bird.
Oh, say more. Say more. Let's hear.
Huh?
Say more. That you had this beautiful image, freedom, flying like a bird. Add to that. Say more about it, please.
It would feel good. It would feel magnanimous. It would feel free. It would feel not being small and teeny-miny. It would feel godlike. It would match to my own expectations of myself.
Wow. I'm getting inspired just listening to you. What a beautiful statement, very poetic statement.
But it needs to come from my heart and it needs to happen. This is all intellectual jargon, what I'm doing, although it is true.
Yes, but sometimes emotions and heart are stimulated first by the intellectual understanding that matches them. So even if it starts in intellect, it can filter into your heart. And when you were just speaking, I was feeling your heart. I was not only intellect. I felt your spirit, and your face lit up, and you were smiling, and your eyes got bright, and your whole energy lifted, which tells me that you were coming from that true place. It was not just an intellectual exercise. So part of you, Sangeeta, is already there.
I'm trying for a long time. I'm trying for 30 years.
Well, maybe you've paid your dues and done your homework. Maybe all of your trying has paid off finally.
Yeah, so I consider that at this moment I have truly forgiven and I am clutter free.
Yes. There is a part of you that has truly forgiven, that's always forgiven. And now what you're doing is you're stepping into that part that knows how to forgive and has already done it. It's not really something new to you. It's something you've already always known, but now you're dropping into it and making it real in your experience.
Okay, I believe it and I'll live it. Okay. And I also want to always, whatever it is, I'm surrounded by so much clutter. I go on thinking I want to clean. I need to clean. But there's so much clutter and it upsets the people around me, especially my husband. And it upsets me also. And I need to free myself from this.
Yes. First, you need to get rid of your mental clutter. And that's your forgiveness is doing that. You know, clutter is hanging on to old stuff longer than you need to. And when you don't forgive, you're hanging on to old stuff longer than you need to. So I feel that as you clean up your mind and your heart and you line up with forgiveness, it'll be easier for you to let the clutter go.
Okay. Okay.
We always work from the inside out.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming at 2 a.m. from India. Okay, you have a beautiful face and you're a radiant soul. I acknowledge that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank
Alan.
you. Aloha. Okay, we'll take one more, Naoko. Naoko, can you put your video on, please?
Hello.
Naoko-san, where
Hi,
are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, very good. Go right ahead, dear. Okay, we've got you unmuted. Okay, now you're good. Go right ahead.
Hi, Alan. So thank you for taking my, it's not call, but so, as you know, I finished your coaching class and I'm trying to, but I have a full-time job and I'm trying to shift my focus to coaching business. And I'm a little bit struggling, starting, finding clients and so on. And so I'm having like this extinction burst, or I'm kind of starting to doubt myself a little bit. But more than that, I know I could get some help in like say social media, but I'm kind of worried that I get bad influence from those people. Like I spoke with a social media consultant and she said, so like, what is like persona, the marketing world, like, your ideal clients, like how old is she? And then like, where does she live? And like, what kind of problem does she have? But I want to serve, I don't want to pick a, age or like, I want to deal with people with many different problems. And so that the people I want to get help are not as spiritually oriented as you are, or like, other coaches. And then like I found this Japanese platform for like advertising, but then it's really heavily like marketing or too much, and then I'm kind of feeling the poison, and then it seemingly looks good, and I feel like, like, oh, you have to send email every single day, and then like you have to, obviously prominently say, click,
click like, and then people are doing that, and that's how you succeed. And I know that. So yeah.
Okay, so
I'm losing myself.
well, yes, but you're losing yourself so you can find yourself. So
yeah,
there are many, 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 many marketing techniques, and I talked to so many people who said you have to have this niche market, and you have to email every day, and they go, "Oh, it feels horrible. It's not who I am."
Yeah.
And those techniques can work for some people,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously they're irritating your soul. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which means that they're not for you. So I would see this as kind of an education in coming back to being honest about what belongs to you and what doesn't as a marketing method.
Mm-hmm.
And you obviously know how to do it, because when somebody tells you what to do that you don't want to do, you recognize, I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So part of you has a pretty good idea about how you would like to market. So briefly, tell us, what is your idea of how to attract people? What works for you that you could sleep with and be comfortable with?
I'll probably write some blog, like, but not like every day, maybe like one per week, or hold maybe like an hour seminar. And then like organically, like I think maybe Angie said, not force it to happen, but let it happen, honestly. Yeah.
And how does that feel?
I like it.
Well, there's your answer.
But it's taking time. I thought I could do it faster. So I'm being impatient.
We all thought we could do it faster. Now, if it's right for you, let it take the time that it needs. And I love the idea of the blog, because then people will get your flavor, they'll know your themes, and you'll attract people according to who you are, not how some marketing consultant says you must stuff yourself into a pigeonhole and do like everybody else.
Yeah. They say I have to put like keywords, into my blog, and that's really
yeah, you can, but I don't believe in that stuff.
I know.
I do some of that. I do some of it, but I do what's fun and what's easy.
Yeah.
People are attracted to me because I'm natural and I'm myself, and they'll be attracted to you for the same reason. I don't buy all these marketing techniques. I do what I do that works for me.
Yeah.
You're smart. Listen to your inner guidance. Quit listening to other people. You already know, yeah?
Yeah, I think I already know, but I needed to hear it from you.
Okay, so I now confirm that you already know.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, dear. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So I could say that to everybody now. I now confirm that you already know. We've had a theme today, haven't we? We've had a theme of aligning with what we know to be true as our higher self, allowing things to unfold organically, trusting our inner self more than external pressures or expectations, and maintaining our wholeness and center no matter what's going on around us. That's a good theme, isn't it? And I think pretty much everybody who I spoke to today voiced something related to that. I hope this has been helpful to all of you. I sure enjoy it. Once again, we're starting my new program, the Master Keys of Healing, in September. It's an 8-week webinar course. You'll love it. I will love it, I'm sure. Once again, there's an early bird discount. You have to get on it today or tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm not just trying to press you, but we're giving 20 people the first 50% discount. So if you're one of those 20 people, you get in and the price goes up after that. Then we're starting our life coaching in September. If you want to get in on that, it's a 6-month program. Go to my website, alancohen.com. I always like to end with a moment of prayer, a moment of intention. Thank you, Great Spirit, for these magnificent people who have joined together for this 1 hour out of our life that makes our life more worthwhile. I am deeply grateful for the honesty that everyone who spoke shared. And I also believe that those who were listening and not speaking were sharing honestly with themselves. You were looking into your hearts and asking yourself, how does that apply to me? How can I make this work on my behalf? So we recognize every single person who's participated live or watching the recording as being deeply and profoundly connected to your higher self, to your true spirit. We know that you have all the guidance you need to move ahead in relationship, in health, and finance, and career. And we see that as you trust that what you are is good enough, everything that is truly good and matching and supporting and empowering will come to you without effort, without strain, without struggle. All the gifts of the kingdom will come to you. Your kingdom is not of this world, but all the good gifts of the kingdom show up in the world and are expressed as blessings in every possible level of your life. And if you want to agree with me, saying so it is. Thank you so much for joining me. I love doing this. I appreciate you showing up. I will see you next week. Take care. Aloha.